Good morning, Rabbi Isai. The Nishmas Mordechai. Chaim Weitzner says that Yeshua Elchanan, an MDY participant, got married last night in the 5 towns. Check out these t-shirts that they gave out at the wedding. Nedarim 29, that's when he got married. He didn't get married on November 23rd, he got married on Nedarim 29. I love it. By special request, the band, Zaltz, sang its Geschmack to the Daf for several minutes. Also, the Chassan's friend made shtick that included that he's an MDYer and which Daf he was married on. They knew what's important to the guy. I want to see somebody walking in, walking out to the chuppah. I'm a real MDYer. Yeah. No, instead of holding on to his kala, he's holding on to the Gemara. Thanks for sending me the charts. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Given a Raisa Shiur. He gives a Shiur of the Amud Yomi. I use them almost every day. You are my inspiration. You teach the way I would have wanted to be taught. Thanks, Ari Katzman. This is a big Simcha. The bris of Tani Palak's son, the one who lost his 2-year-old suddenly this year. Oh, wow. I just noticed this now. There's 8-minute daf something on the table. If you look closely. Oh, that means the Peretz Chaim Levin is here at the bris. That's all it means. Wow. Seriously. That's a little bit much, Peretz. And this, Rabbi Isai's Jeff Rosner's son, who's just nifted this week. Look how cute he is. This is in Eretz Rishit, I believe, no? It's a great place. If you come to Eretz Yisrael, it's a great place to visit. And he wrote us a very, very long email. It says like this: I would want to thank the Oilam for the support, voicemails, texts, phone calls, emails, and visits. I was sitting down to write this. Shlomi Klein from Crown Heights. Once again, he shows up, Shlomi Klein. Like the first time, the first Shiva. He came to drop off a fruit platter, sit with me, and then drive back to New York. I don't know what the distance is, but it's not close. It's unbelievable. What? 2 hours? 4 hours? From Crown Heights to Philadelphia. 3.5, 4 hours. Each way. Wow. Shlomi Klein. And this is a guy that's up the whole night. Understand? This is not, he works all night, Shlomi Klein. That's his job. His business. It's unbelievable the amount of tefillas learning in chesed. That's chesed. Driving 8-hour drive to be Menachem Avos. Unbelievable. That we're done and continue to be done in this chus. Another person, Matis Kos, wrote to me that his 14-year-old, listen to this, Matis Kos, his 14-year-old, you know the Hasidic kid that sat here the other day? 14-year-old spent his own money to sponsor a 3-hour learning seder in his school for my son. I wanted to share a little about my son. I attached some photos. He's in the middle of the first photo. His middle name is Simcha. He has a lot of Simcha in his life. A sweet boy had our challenges. He had a great smile, sometimes mischievous, wacky sense of humor. We found him a great yeshiva. And Baruch Hashem, we were able to spend a beautiful Shabbos in November before he got sick. So you never know. You got to spend more time with the kids. I came to find out that he was also the bravest person, despite being mostly paralyzed, but fully cognitively aware of what was happening to him, despite biopsy, other surgery, multiple intubations, extubations, radiations, feeding tubes, wound issues, eye issues. He never lost a sense of humor and would still laugh at jokes if they were funny. And he wasn't angry at what happened to him. Sad, yes, but not angry. He was only in this world for 16 years, but he accomplished way more than... He helped us in Avodas Hashem. And now, as for now, when people want to know what they can do, the only thing I can think of is if anyone wants to take on something Leilu Nishmas Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Sarchana, 5 minutes of extra learning, refraining from Lashon Hara for set times, coming on time for davening, saying a tefillah bracha with more kavana, extra tzedakah, saying some extra tehillim each day, letting go of anger at someone. The list goes on. And is based on wherever a particular person is holding. As long as more good is being done in the world, it brings nechama, brings us in nechama, bring the world close to Mashiach so I can see him again. Wow. Again, thanks so much to Rebellion Darlam, and I hope to meet a lot more of you in person. Happy occasions. I'm thinking of trying to make it to Miami Siyum. We had so many happy times in South Florida before Yosef got sick. One thing he talked about a lot on break before he got sick was Zalmi Burger. for some restaurant in Miami area. Still not sure what it is. Jeff. Here he is. Jeff and his son again. Unbelievable. You should have an acham. You should have an achama. We gotta start moving here. I recently joined MDY. I'm reading this because this is very important to me. I had a interview with Moment magazine. It's a Chassidish magazine. They wrote a beautiful article, and I thought that it was in vain. But here's at least one person. I joined after reading your interview in Moment magazine. So just for him, it was worth it. Shkoyach for sending in this email. I always enjoyed learning, but it was hard for me to stay consistent. I checked out the Shiur just to see what it's all about. The daily ever. The Shiur literally changed my day. I started a job. My day is not always rewarding. The Shiur is something I always look forward to. You make the Gemara so alive and exciting. I got the free Gemara and keep it in my car to review the Shiur during work. I'm proud to be part of MDY family. Thank you so much. May Hashem give you koyach to continue spreading Torah. Talmud, anonymous from Borough Park. Rabbi Sai, the Koil sponsor Leilu Nishmas. Well, we'll do one more day. Chaya bas Yosef. The Koil. May we always be able to support Torah and may the Torah protect us from any harm. The Masechta is sponsored. Sgula Torah, Tomechia, Kիעקב Via'al. And the Parnas HaChodesh last day for Jeff Rosner. Leilu Nishmas, his son, Yosef Simcha, Chaim, Zechariah ben ybl'c Shlomo Yehuda. And Dr. Avrum Epstein and Mary, my dear departed loved ones, including my recent yizkors. Get ready to say your names, guys. Gedalia Waldman. Did I say this? No. Third sponsor of the month. Leilu Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe. Leilu Nishmas Bezalel ben Moshe. Gedalia Waldman. Sponsor of the day. Mazal Tov to Aryeh Waldman on his bar mitzvah this week. An MDY Daffer since Megillah. Bar mitzvah boy. MDY Daffer since Megillah. We have another bar mitzvah boy here. Mazal Tov to Naftali Tzvi Greenman. You're the son. The Alila Torah Boisai is Shabbos morning by Rabbi Megrola. Shari Tefillah, 8 a.m. Shachris. If you don't know where that is, it's under Pnei Shmuel. If you don't know where Pnei Shmuel is, get out of here. But this kid is doing the daf, not Greenman. This Aryeh Waldman, maybe Greenman also. I don't know. Since Megillah, beautiful. Leilu Nishmas, over a year. Leilu Nishmas, but the Kיעקב ben Shmaryo on his 11th yahrzeit. A huge Mazal Tov to my in-laws. Kיעקב and Silka Steinmetz, Mechutonim of Yisrael and Bella Elbrin. The first great-granddaughter. The first great-grandkid is my great-nephew, Naftali. This is the great-granddaughter. From my brother, Rifal and Eli Stefansky, Yishkoyach for the sponsorship. The first month of our art is sponsored by me, Rabbi Anonymous from Lakewood and Schos for Shidduchim for his nieces. Rabbi, so real quickly, what is your name, Tzaddik?
Josh Brody.
Oh, yeah, Josh Brody. Shkoyach, Shalom Aleichem. You're not a guest. You're hiding over here. You didn't shave. For Chodesh, didn't shave. What's the big announcement?
Miami. The link is about to go live.
Yeah.
Before it's already going live, it's probably sold out 500 to 800 people. So just
500 to 800 people?
You should know that.
What are you're making stuff up
no,
now?
I'm telling you. I just spoke to Michael Ben-Shatri. Big.
Okay, yeah. I also spoke to him. Yesterday was 300. How did he come 800? No, I'm just kidding. You're kidding. He didn't tell me any numbers. Wow. That'll be amazing. Okay, what's your name, Tzaddik? Jake Manis from son-in-law. Oh yeah, we met also. Yeah. Okay, I probably met you too. You actually did. We did. What's your name? What's your name? You haven't been here longer than this guy. What? Joe Sharp. And your son? Sharp from? Boca, that's right, Boca. You just told me a minute ago. What? Back left, we have our tzaddikim. The Rabbi Weiss, Nisano, right? Nisano, Nathaniel, I don't know. What's the Yiddish name? Nisano. Nisano Weiss gave a speech in Bellworks. And he said that he started on a Friday, like today, in the rain. He didn't say the rain part. And he said it's the hardest day to start of the week, but you start. And here he is. He's going stark. From Moed Katan, stark. And he's doing other mesechtas as well. So shkoyach. And he slept along a friend who doesn't want to be mentioned. Fine, we won't talk about him. Shkoyach friend for coming along. We're starting, today's Daf Amud Aleph, 30 Daf into Nedarim, but let's do the two last lines because we did it quick. So let's just go back to this chart real quickly. If a person made a neder on Noiladim, Noiladim again is counterintuitive. Noiladim means those who weren't born yet. I'm not going to benefit from any kid that wasn't born yet. So Yishkoyach Gary for doing what you're doing because I don't need to see what's. Yeah, thank you. So it also includes kids that are already alive. Why? But he only said kids that aren't born yet. Why does it include kids that are already alive? Says the Gemara, because it says, what he meant to say is, it says in the Mishnah, it means all human beings. I mean, those who aren't born. He means creatures that are born. Now, what creatures are not included in this? They are not born. They hatch from an egg like this, although in this picture it looks like human being does hatch from an egg. That's a Shaila on Yoshi. I don't know. We have to speak to him. What?
The snake does hatch from eggs.
Right.
How come it's not included?
That's why I put a snake here. Right. Look.
No, you should say the Gemara.
For you, that's the question. Okay. No, in the Gemara it says sometimes that the snake actually gives birth. We had that's how we know it. But the Gemara says that snakes. So we said some snakes. Yes, so 7 years a snake is. You remember? You don't remember the Gemara? Okay. But it just means snakes that hatch should be included in or not included in his nether. Says the official Mishnah sponsored is Chus of K'tinya Atzlach and Liman HaTorah. Hanoidim is Shayvsei Shabbos. If a person makes a nether, they won't benefit from anybody that rests on Shabbos, that keeps Shabbos. Asur bi Yisrael, v'asur bi Kusim. So he's obviously asur in any Jew, but he's also asur in Kusim. A Kusi is a big famous machlokes in the Gemara. Are the Geri Rayas or Geri MS? Did they become Gerim because of the lions or because they really mean to be Gerim? One thing we know is that they keep some things, and some of the stuff that they keep, they're very, very makbid on. So a Kusi, he keeps Shabbos, so therefore, included in his nether, you can't benefit from a Kusi. What if he says, Me oichle shum? So, what's very interesting is, Taisus brings, there's a Gzeira of Ezra, that everybody should eat garlic on Friday, or Friday night. Erev Shabbos, because garlic increases Zera, and Tamid Chachamim, their Oina is Friday night. So, the Taisus Yantav asks, if that's, so he made a nether, I'm not going to benefit from anybody that eats garlic. So he's referring to Jews. He's also referring to Kusim. Here we have a picture, if anybody wants to see, there's a Kusi eating garlic. This is actually based on a picture. Today in Eretz Yisrael, they call it Shomronim, they live in Har Grizim. There's a whole cult of these people that consider themselves Kusim, and they actually talk about, somebody told me, I didn't have time and I didn't look it up, but if you find it, I'll be curious to see that there's a video of them saying that they eat garlic and they do this and they keep certain things. They don't believe in Har Beis, but they believe in Har Grizim. Okay. Adayam Hazeh. Tatziyana just asks, if it's such a mitzvah to eat garlic, and Ezra says to eat garlic, so how come the Rambam doesn't bring down la halacha? So he says, because the Rambam in Hilchos Deis says that you shouldn't eat garlic. Garlic is not good for you. But others argue and they say, what do you mean? The Rambam is talking about uncooked garlic, or cooked garlic. This. The Vilna Gaon holds that everybody should eat garlic, because as any other halach and Gemara, it's a takanas chachamim that we don't know the reasons. They tell you one thing. It's lahar boy zera shalom aleichem Reb Aaron Hirsch from Lakewood. Come in. I hope you brought me another iPad because the one that you got me broke. No, I'm just kidding. No. I want another gift. That's what I'm saying. So another gross is here. Givaldik. Everybody's here. Come on in. So you hear what the guy says, like, for instance, when we had that you shouldn't drink from wine that's megula because maybe a snake comes and inserts its venom. So some say, oh, today we don't have snakes in our house, so there's no problem. Says the guy, no, you didn't understand. Chacham say one reason, there's many other reasons that we're not familiar with. And just because we don't have snakes, you shouldn't drink megula. He says, just because you're not married doesn't mean that you don't eat shum. Everybody eats shum. Everybody eats garlic. It's nothing to do with being married. It's just one reason. The Mishnah Berurah says it's a mitzvah to eat garlic on Friday night. Just a mitzvah. Okay? Now I'm going to go to the seal, and the guy's going to come over to me. Because of you, I eat garlic. I don't do anything, but because of you, I eat garlic. Fine. Shmak. It happens to be that there's a lot of Hasidim that eat garlic, but they mix it in their food. They don't eat it straight out, maybe because of this Rambam. I don't know exactly why. Okay? Weiter. What?
Garlic dip.
Garlic dip. Yeah, it's all good. Garlic dip. Very good. Yeah. There are people, this just like a Litvak, when he doesn't believe in tikkun. He doesn't bring a tikkun on his parents' yard side. But if the cake is there on the table, he fresses it like crazy. He's very makbid. So the kusim also, the same thing. Maybe, I'm just saying, it was good food. Who doesn't like good garlic? Besides, you know the story with my shver, right? My shver, there's one food, he hates garlic. The first week that we moved to Chicago after our chasna, it was like 3 weeks after our wedding, my wife invited her parents. For some genius reason, she decided to make garlic chicken. My shver hates garlic. And it said you should put 1 clove of garlic. So she took the entire garlic and put it in, she didn't know how to cook. She didn't know a clove means 1. She took the entire thing and she put it in, and my shver is eating the chicken. He goes, wow, this is the most delicious chicken I have ever had. And he ate the entire thing till the end. Tzaddik of a yid, mamish, yeah, shver. Because maybe somebody's going to tell him that's why I said it, so I have to, be careful. Says the Mishnah. So if a guy says Moich Shum, also Yisrael, also Bekusim, he's including everybody. Moili Yerushalayim. What about for those who go up to Yerushalayim? Also Yisrael, or Mutter Bekutim. So you look at this picture over here. There's all Yoshi. A Kusi goes to Har Grizim. A Jew goes to Yerushalayim. So when he says Oili Yerushalayim, he does not mean a Kusi. He means only Jews. Could be Kusim are Jews. Whatever way you go, but there's still kusim that are Jews. Says the Gemara, Shabbos. What does it mean? He rested on Shabbos. It means somebody keeps Shabbos. What if a guy keeps Shabbos? A guy decides to keep Shabbos. So maybe he's also included in his nether. It means what HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded. He only commanded the Yidden. Why are you mutter a kusi? Once a kusi becomes a ger, and now the Gemara is holding that the ger MS, he's chayiv in kol haTorah kulo, just like a yid. So he has Shabbos just like you. Why is his neder? Why doesn't it apply to a kusi? Because there's 2 things going on here. First of all, it has to be commanded. Second of all, he has to keep it. So just because he commanded, so it would come out l'chara. I'm thinking now out loud. What about a non-affiliated Jew? He's commanded, but he doesn't keep it. He most likely won't be in his nether. Listen, it goes by lishon of b'nei adam, how people speak. He didn't include. He kept people that keep Shabbos. The 2 first parts of the Mishnah, which are Shabbos and Shum, the Takanas Ezra, Yisrael and the Kusim both have a command to keep Shabbos and Shum. If they keep Shabbos or they even eat garlic on Friday night, they do it, but they're not mechuyev to. But Yerushalayim, to go up to Yerushalayim, Yisrael mitzuvim v'oisim, because Baruch Hu commanded you have to go up to Yerushalayim, Bahar Bayis, Beis Hamikdash 3 times a year on Yantel. Kusim mitzuvim v'einam v'oisim. Okay, you need both in order to be included in the nether. You need both. The official Mishnah, sponsored in Schos, we continue Aslach and Limit HaTorah. Koinam sheini nehena livnei Noach. What are we? If we think about it, what are we? We all come from Noach. Noach was the only person alive, and from him, all of Klal Yisrael. What's that? You have a Noach song? Noach was a big tzaddik. Noach is a big tzaddik. Noach is a big tzaddik. Oh, from his Kemelet to. Okay, Zog the Gemara. I'm not going to have any honor from the children of Noach. Are you included? You Yid. Are you included? Mutter Yisrael. A Jew is not included. His nether doesn't involve Yidden. But all Goyim are Bnei Noach. Why? As the Gemara of Yisrael Minafik, Bichlal Bnei Noach. Why? We all are descendants of Noach. Says the Gemara, Kivin the Igdash Avram Iskra Shmei. Avram is the first Yid. So there was a stop, there's a break. We are Bnei Avram Avinu. I once heard a pshat, I don't know who says it, that's why the Aves were Akarim. They couldn't have children because naturally, Al Yidei Teva, there was a break. And then, Al Pines, they had children, so that's like a new start, Kilo. Okay. What about the Imais? I want to show you something beautiful here. It's a Maridik and Musa Haskell. Do you know that Haran, he was debating whether he should go with Avram Avinu in Ur Kasdim or against him. So he said, let me check it out. Let me see what happens. If he survives the fire, I'll go with him. I'll believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If not, I'll go against him. So when Avram Avinu came out of Ur Kasdim, he said, okay, I'm going with him. And then he jumped into the fire. And what happened to him? He died. So the question is, Zu Torah of Zu Zchara, Kilo, like that's the schar. He went and he sacrificed himself. Mamish, Al Kiddush Hashem. And he just burnt. You know what the answer is? Here's the answer. And this, I'm just saying this because we have the Aves here talking about the Imais for a second. I want to show you this beautiful chart that I asked Yoshi to do, and this is what he did. Terach had Haran. Haran is Avram's brother. Check this out. You're not going to believe this. The bottom line of this chart is, look who came out of Haran who's burnt to a crisp in Ur Kasdim. You'll say, because this is a yisod in life. Like, I don't understand Hashem. How come this one died? How come this thing happened? It's terrible. He died. You're right. But look what happened. Haran had Sarah. So she's one of the Imais, right? Haran also had Light. Look what happens from Light. Light has Ammon and Moav. Haran also had Milcah, who had Besuel. Who did Besuel have? Rivka. So it comes out that Haran had Rivka. Haran had Sarah. Haran also had Rachel and Leah. And the two, Bil and Zilpa, which also, according to Lavan. From Light, you have Rus and Nama, which is Nama's Shlomo Melech's wife. So all the rest of Klal Yisrael. But Rus also, David HaMelech. Everybody came out of Haran. At the end of the day, Haran was Zaycha, that all the Imais, you see the four pinks.
It was Terach.
The Shemishmol says that.
Maybe it's other Rishon.
Yeah. Shemishmol says that Haran, the reason he had to die was because people thought that he was a person who knew magic. Mm-hmm. They could save Avram Avinu with his magic.
Right.
So Chas v'Shalom, people shouldn't think that that's what happened.
Yeah, I hear. Very nice. Zog the Gemara. All that was worth it just for this.
Gary's line, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Oh, this is amazing. Is that Nachor still threw him into the fire after he saw Avram come out. Nachor was still also
Nimrod.
He was still double in his awareness.
Yeah. Good point. But we're not learning Chumash now. It was just says the Gemara.
It's not even our parsha.
Right. Sheini Nehena L'Zera Avram. Oh, in Schos, you know what? It's one real. I didn't look inside. I bet you it's one mission. It doesn't make sense. It's such small pieces. Okay, in Schos, for continuing Atzlacha and leaving Torah, I apologize, Moshe Cohen. So, Sheini Nehena L'Zera Avram. I'm not going to have anything to do with Avram. From the descendants of Avram, not le, but from Mizer Avram. Asur be Yisrael umuter b'avid kechavim. Of course, Klal Yisrael starts from Avram, from the Imais. Then you're asur in Yisrael, but you're muter in a goy. By the way, just going back because we're talking about Bnei Noach, that there's a stop and a break. Has anybody ever heard that might be an issue to call your kid Noach? If there's a break, we start from Avram. We're Bnei Avram. We're not Bnei Noach. So then why do we call our kids Noach? What about Adam? So the Mabit says you shouldn't call Noach and Adam. There's a machlokes in that. So I'm just throwing it out there. Again, not paskening. Throwing it out there. All the Noachs and Adams, Arois. Go to Reb Chaim Kanievsky, get a new name. Huh? Reb Chaim Kanievsky is okay. Yeah, his name is Chaim. Zogdimar, who's Adam here? Adam. Okay. Says the Gemara, Vayigi Yishmael. Vayigi Yishmael. What about Yishmael? Yishmael, so it includes all Ishmaelim, all our cousins. Kiv Yitzchak yikar l'chazar. No, the Torah says that we go after Yitzchak, not after Yishmael. Ksiv Voike Esav. Where's Esav? Parshat Shavua Boisai. We just discovered Esav this week. Yitzchak v'lo kol Yitzchak. I guess Yitzchak v'lo kol Yitzchak. It's a no big Yitzchak, some of Yitzchak, not all of Yitzchak. Says the Eli Mishnah, official Mishnah spots is chuz continue atzlach and limit Torah. Sheini nehena miYisrael. Oh, so now we have a little bit of sugya. The person said, I'm not going to benefit from anybody in Klal Yisrael. So, lekeach b'yoser or moicher b'pachas. What does he do? He lives in Ramat Bet Shemesh. All the stores are Jewish. How's he gonna survive? So he goes to the store. He has to pay a little bit extra. He cannot benefit from them, so he has to pay a little bit more. If he's a seller, if he owns a store, he has to sell at a loss. It's a great business. He buys and sells just so tagreikr that he should be called a seller. Fine. I don't know how he survives exactly. But if he says that a Jew cannot benefit from me, then he has to sell for more expensive because he can't. So he has a store. He's overpriced. Everything he does, he's overpriced. Says the Mishnah, but at the end of the day, who's going to buy there? He's an overpriced store. Nobody can benefit from him. Now, what are we talking about exactly? There's three, we're going to see in a second, there's three types of merchandise. There's merchandise that's very easy to sell, there's merchandise that's very difficult to sell, and there's medium merchandise. What are we talking about over here? Sometimes it's a hana for the seller, sometimes it's a bigger hana for the buyer. If it's something in high demand, it's better, the hana goes to the buyer, not the seller. If it's in very low demand, then it's very hard for the seller to sell, so then the hana is only for him, not for the buyer. What are we talking about? Sheni nehen lahen vehein li, and if he says it to the extreme, I have no benefit from anybody and nobody has any benefit from me, then he's stuck. Then he can't sell for too cheap because then they'll benefit from him. He can't sell for too much, then he'll benefit from them, so he's stuck. Then he has to go to the cleaning ladies in the neighborhood. I don't know what he's going to do. If he lives here in Eretz Yisrael, he's fahak tzaras. Omer Shmuel. Listen to this, Rabbi said. This is an unbelievable sugya. This happens all the time. Let's say you go to the jewelry store and you buy your wife, you want to buy your wife a piece of jewelry, a nice piece of jewelry, right? So I've done it a few times. You go to a jeweler, you say, give me 2-3 necklaces. Let me show them to my wife. Okay, so you take them. Now, once you take it to your wife, what are you? Are you a shoy mechinam? Nobody's paying you to watch those necklaces. Are you shoy mesachar? Maybe. I have to have some sort of achrayis here. Or am I a shoyel? I'm borrowing. What am I? Now, a shoy mechinam is pater b'gnei b'aveda. If he's on the way to showing it to his wife, somebody comes with a gun and they take it or anything, they steal it out of his car when he's pater. A shoy mesachar is chay b'gnei b'aveda, but he's pater in einsim. If something out of the ordinary, but a shoyel is chayiv even in einsim. So there's different levels. What is this guy? Yeah, it happens all the time. You never took a piece of jewelry. I mean, I haven't done it in 25. How many years am I married? I did it 3 months after I got married. Whatever, one time. No, I'm just kidding. But to take a bunch of jewelry and bring it to your wife and show, what are you? So the Gemara says, Omer Shmuel, halakech kli mino uman. If you do that, levakroi, to check it out, show it to your wife, v'nenaz biyada, you had aynas. The most severe, chayev. You are chayev. Why? Alma kasavar hanas leikeachi. The guy purchasing it, he's the one that has all the benefit, and therefore he turns into a borrower, a shayel, and he's chayev in any aynas, tanan. So how does it fit into our Mishnah? She'eni ne'enem Yisrael, moicher bepachais, avashav v'shav eloi. So, in order not to be too confused, let's just go to the end of the whole sugya. I just want to show you what we're going to have at the end, and we'll make it very, very simple. This is Yoshi, besides the words on the top, as you can see. It's not. What he did was, you have an esrog depot, it says fix esrogim on the bottom. And these are esrogim after sukkos. Nobody wants an esrog after sukkos. Right? It's very, very, so if you're stuck with a lot of schayra, and somebody comes and buys an esrog from you, you're the one benefiting. The guy buying from it is, okay, he's going to make jelly with it. What is he going to do exactly? For Zgula, so you're fine. all the way to the right, and that's called al-ape. Al-ape means in Hebrew they say al-panim. It's mamish taken from the Gemara al-panim. It's in the parasha by Haran. It says he died al-pnei aviv. Al-pnei. It's like, I don't know how to translate it in English. There's no on his face. It's not such a, he fell on his face. Al-ape. It's the worst schayra. Then you have schayra charifa. Schayra charifa is like donuts, Erev Chanukah, or donuts today. That's why we got donuts today. Bryce, I'm not joking. This is a edible. A prop. An edible prop. That's why I know, because I really wanted to do. I asked Yoshi in the beginning to do pizza Motsei Pesach. That is the it's by me. I don't know. I know people pay $1,000 for a pie of pizza, the first pie out of the oven. But then I realized, wait a minute, it's Rosh Chodesh today. I should have said Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh, Kislev, and that's when they the donuts. So we have edible prop. Here, you can have some. Give it around. Why is it not good?
5 minutes out of the oven. Shelf life.
No, it's in a box. It's sealed. Here, give it back to you where it came from. I see all these donuts here. Why are they still sitting here? Nobody wants donuts? You don't want? Here, take. These guys want. Okay. So here, go back to the chart, please. We have the donuts, which is, we'll call that the charif, which everybody wants right now. It's in high demand. Then you have stuff that's not in demand. Then you have the Motsei. You know what the Motsei is? Toilet paper, I told him to do. So he did Avi's toilet paper boutique. Whatever. Now, so here, this is the whole sugya in one shot. If you sell an item for less than its value, in every single case, I don't care if it's donuts, esrogim after sukkahs, or toilet paper. In all cases, if you sell for less than the value, then the buyer is the one that gains. In all cases, if you sell them more than its value, who gains? The seller always gains. So the whole machlokes, the whole shaila is, if you sell it at cost. Sell at cost shava. So it's very simple. If you sell it at cost and it's a very high demand item, it's donuts, then what? At market, thank you. At market, you sell it at market, but everybody's schlepping, everybody's running to get it. So the one that benefits is the buyer. Then he's able to chop, he's able to get in line and grab it. The seller has no benefit, kaviyachol, because he can sell to anybody. He has unlimited amount of buyers. On the other side, if you sell it at market, at esrig at market, so the one that benefits here is considered the seller. He benefits in that market. The only thing is, if it's the middle, if it's the toilet paper, if it's the middle one, then who benefits? At market, and you don't have that many customers, but you have some customers. Who benefits? Both. The buyer and the seller. So now let's see inside. Now that we know this, very, very pashut. Tanan, Cheni, Enemy Yisrael, if he says, I don't want to benefit from any Jew, he has to sell it for less, because he can't take a profit. But he can't sell it for market. But if, it's like you're saying Shmuel, that the benefit is for the buyer, then even at marketplace, why does he have to go? Even Shava shouldn't be allowed. He has the pure benefit. The buyer has benefit at market. Says the Gemara, Masnisin, Bizvina, the Rami Alapay. This is a Havamina, not what I showed on the chart. Havamina. That what? If it's, the Mishnah is talking about that it's the worst of the worst. It's the Sroigim after Sukkos. So therefore what? So even if it's market, it benefits the seller. Imkei, Nemeresha, what about the first part of the Mishnah? Lokeach biyoser, he has the when he purchases, he should pay more. It could also be market. Why does he have to do more? It's also, he also loses at market. Says Gemara va'oid, Ema Seifa, what about the end? Shisrael nenimli, I make a net and nobody can benefit from me. Lokeach b'pachos u'moicher biyoser. Vi bezvina de rami alapay. If we're talking about a case that it's terrible stuff, terrible schayra, sroigim, afilu shava b'shava, it's still a loss for the buyer. Says the Gemara, okay, therefore we have to say, seifa, bezvina charifa. Yeah, it's a neder, yeah. Should be awesome. Says the Gemara, Seifa bezvina charifa. So now we have to switch. The Reisha is alapei, terrible stuff, but the Seifa is talking about pizza after Pesach, the best stuff in the world. Seifa bezvina charifa. So the seller doesn't benefit. So if so, why do you have to say that he buys for less, even if it's market? Ella, says the Gemara, Amud Aleph Amud Beis, Masnim bezvina mitzah. Now, there's an amazing run here that I recommend that if you have a pencil or a pen, you should mark this run down because it's a run for the entire Shas. It's 4 lines from before it becomes wide. Says the Ran Venir Beinai. You have it? The Gemara Vada Kimukim Asnisim Bezvina the Rami Alapei. When the Gemara said we're talking about pizza. Inami Bezvina Charifa. I'm sorry, the Rami Alapei means this right. Inami Bezvina Charifa pizza. Mede Yoda. The Gemara knows. The Gemara is not silly. The Gemara knows. The Masnisim Leslo Yikum Tebachi. You can't say it like that. Ella. So why does the Gemara say it? Ligaluyi Dine Kabai. I think it's an amazing Ran. You don't really have this in Ran saying how to learn Gemara. Gemara is not a Shulchan Aruch where it gives you straight out halachas, like this. The Gemara is showing you how we arrived at a certain maskana. So the Gemara asks sometimes questions that don't make so much sense, that the answers are very easy and simple. But within the easy answer and the simple answer, we just came to this chart over here. Based on what the Gemara said, that there's Zmina Charifa, there's a Alape, now I have new halachas that just came out from it. But not that I really believed the question, and I thought that we're going to stick with it. Fine. But I think that Nikud is very important to learn Gemara. How made the Yada. The Gemara knew the Masnisin Leslie Kim Ta'achi. The Gemara knew I can't say it. So why did the Gemara say it? The Gemara knew in the Havamina I can't say it. To get to halacha. Says the Gemara. What? Yeah. But you just the Gemara shows you how it developed these halachas, how it came to this conclusion, not just the conclusion like a Shulchan Aruch. Today's turning of the daf sponsored by Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP. Endless chus being able to support Limit Torah and to finish Shas with the rebelli. I did? Okay. So I hope you put it in there. Masnisim Zvina Mitzi. Ude Shmuel. And Shmuel is talking about a really easy thing to sell. So if our mission is talking about Zvina Mitzia, so let's look at the chart again. Who benefits from a mediocre item? Nishtahi, nishtaher, toilet paper, whatever you want to call it. Everybody benefits. The seller benefits because somebody bought from him. The buyer benefits and then he has a product. And that's why the Mishnah is talking about Mitzia. I've proved to Shmuel that what? That the lokeach, a guy bringing a necklace to show his wife, he turns into a shayel. Because it says, a person buys something to send to the shver's house. Really, he's trying to send to the shviger. But there's a Gemara in the Gemara. I said this once before, a long time ago. I'll say it again. A guy wanted to send his shviger gift, but he's a cheapskate. So he went into a store and he saw this antique vase. They're selling like antiques over there. He says, my shviger would really appreciate it. But he noticed that one was mamash smashed into smithereens. Somebody knocked it over. He says, listen, do me a favor. I have a great chap. Tells this guy, the store owner, take this vase, wrap it up nicely, put a nice ribbon on it. The guy says, why? He says, trust me. Wrap it up nicely. I call say that how much do you want for the broken thing? The guy says, broken thing. I'll give it to you for 5% of the original price. Okay, Gevaldik. The guy takes the big box with the ribbon and he knocks on his shviger's door. She opens the door, he walks in and he trips. He goes, oh, boom! Zoe, sorry. Why? I bought this beautiful thing. Let's see. So they open up the box, and there it is. Every broken piece was wrapped in a nice wrapping. So this guy, what? He buys something to send to the shviger's house. Yet to his kala. Again, it's like jewelry. This makes a lot of sense even today. If they like it, if she likes it, great. I didn't know it's l'chad d'meim. I'll buy it right now. Then, and if they don't like it, I didn't know it's l'chad if he toivas hana shebehem. Okay, whatever hana. Nentzu, so if there was some sort of oinus on the way, bahalicha chayav. So this is Shmuel's halacha, that you become a shayel, so even you're chayav on a oinus when you're going. And this is an interesting halacha, b'chazara, once they decide to return it, now you flip from a shayel into a shoyma sachar and potter. Mipnei shukenoisa sachar. Says the Gemara story, Ahus Hafsira, the shakal chamer l'zabunei, v'lo yizaben. He was a middleman, he's a dealer, he took a donkey from somebody to sell. And when he was going back, itnis chamara, something bad happened to the donkey. Rav Nachman said he has to pay. So Rava asked, why does he have to pay? He's on the way back. We just learned that on the way back, he's potter from ma'aynas. He turns into Shema Sachar. Because when you're a middleman and you give it back, on the way back, you're still a shayel. Why? We're not talking about a guy, a chassan, showing his kala a necklace. We're talking about a guy that's trying to do business. He's trying to sell the donkey. So selling the donkey, he's trying to sell it all the way to the last minute. There's no back and forth. Any given time, if somebody walks over to him and says, how much you want for your car? He'll sell it. I got to tell you the story from David Kaplan that he said in my sukkah. A murdic story. It has zero musar to it at all. He says, there's a guy that was selling a horse. He's arguing to a donkey. I want 500, I'm not going a penny less. He made a neder, I'm not going a penny less. But at the end, he's asking him to sell for 100. So an observer, let's call him Reuven, he sees the whole back and forth. He says, I don't understand something. You said you're not going to go less than 500. Why do you sell for 100? He says, why do I sell for 100? You don't see the horse is limping. It's limping. So it's not even worth 100. Yeah, no, it's not. So he runs to the buyer. He says, I don't understand. Why did you buy the horse for 100? It's worthless. It's a limping horse. He says, Shaita. The horse has a nail on its foot. That's why he's limping. All I'm doing, take out the nail. So he runs back to the seller. He says, it's not a real limp. There's a nail. So the guy goes, Shaita, I put the nail in there. You put the nail in there. So it's really, so he runs back to the other guy. He goes, that nail's fake. He put the nail there, so you should think that's limping. He says, idiot. I never paid him. I paid him forged money. It wasn't real money. So he goes back to the other guy. He goes, it's forged money. You didn't get money. He goes, Shaita, it's not even my horse. I didn't sell my horse. And then he says, and what's the Musa Haskell? I have no idea. Okay, fine. Zok the Mishnah. Maisa Shaya. No, the point is that, I don't know the point, but for me, it's never your fault. You ever notice? It's always the wife's fault. Whoever's standing next to you, it's your fault. Why do you put it over there? Shaita, it's you. Okay, fine. We have a very easy Mishnah. This Mishnah is Agadita, and it talks about a bris milah. I got to tell you that I'm not joking, you can ask Tom, I worked really, really hard yesterday for hours to get a real baby to do bris milah here. And I was in shul, and I was fighting with a mile. You were going to do it? Yes, I was going to do a milah here, because the bris is about a milah. Baruch Hashem, I didn't do it because it's already 8:01, and then we've been 8:25 by the time we're done. I walk over to Moyle. I'm not going to tell you his name. Famous Moyle. Yeah, Kvater. I walk over and I said, listen, you got to do it. He says, I can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. It's a bezoy for the bris. So I said, but I need tomorrow. It's the sugi. He says, I'm not doing it. It's mamash bezoy. So then I said, listen, I told him the whole thing. I said, you're missing an opportunity here. We could do it. Chazik Torah will be great. People say, look, the shir, sugar, they brought a baby in, and more people come to the shir. Back, forth, back. Finally, I'm not joking. My chavrusa is watching this whole thing. 20 minutes. I have him convinced. He says, yeah, but I don't have any brissim tomorrow. After the whole thing. Zok the Mishnah. He knew. He was just schlepping me around for 20 minutes. And he gave me rishus to say his name, but I said, I'm not going to say your name. You know, Adayim as a Hasidim, they call Goyim, they call him Arelim. It's a way to call him. Arelim. So he says, I'm not going to benefit from any Arel. Mutar ba'areli Yisrael. Because when you say Arel, you don't mean somebody doesn't literally, physically doesn't have bris milah. You mean a guy. And even if it's an Arab that has a milah, he's asur. The neder is chalanim. He's called an Arel. Lamaisi doesn't have Arla. It doesn't matter. Fine. Says, so what? So he's not allowed to benefit from the guy. There's okay, I know it's late. Fine, we won't say this joke. I'll say it real quickly. Erev Shabbos, the Shabbos. Many has to go already. There was a shviger coming to Israel. She said, "Listen, I need a taxi. Get me a taxi, but make sure it's only a Jewish driver. Only Jewish driver." So the guy thinks, he says his best driver is an Arab. So not going to look for another driver. He tells the Arab, Muhammad, you're going to drive my shviger, but you have to wear a yarmulke. So he wears the yarmulke. So after this, he drives around. He says, "No, shviger, how was it?" He says, "He's an amazing driver. Not only that, he's a big Talmud Chacham." This is the message. You didn't get it? Okay, great. Think about it. It's funny. You don't like? Okay, thank you. Shani Ned Alamulim. Also, saying these big mevinim.
I don't think anyone got it.
It's not a joke. It's the fact. The fact is that when you hear from the shviger that somebody's a Talmud Chacham, who's the maven? Even on the Arab, she'll say a Talmud Chacham. Fine. Shani Ned Alamulim. Also, Yisrael. Oh, now, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Shani Ned Alamulim. Also, Yisrael. But if he says, I'm not going to benefit from anybody that has a milah, then he's also in all those who have, even a Jew that doesn't have a milah, he's considered a mohul. Right? It's the same thing. A oral is all goyim, a mohul is all yidden, it doesn't matter whether he has or not. And if a goy has a milah, he's mutter, the neder is nachal, because he's not considered a mohul. Oh, another pasuk. On Goliath, he's an oral. Says the Ran, why do I need another pasuk? Because I would think maybe he's talking about the orla of the heart, literally the heart. No, we're talking about an oral. He's talking about his bris. And I have a third pasuk. Why do I need a third pasuk? Because now I'm talking about an entire nation. Not just Goliath. Goliath, maybe Taka was an oral. But you can't say that all Plishtim are Arelim, because there are those who are born with a bris milah. You're born with it. So how can you call the entire nation Arelim? Elamai, even though he's born with a bris milah, he's considered ha'aral. It's a terrible thing because Rishayim were what's the word in Nizganu in English? Shenemar kichol agoyim arelim. Rabbi Shmuel Oimer Gedalia Milah shenichsu aleh shalish eser brises. In the parsha of Milah, it says the word bris 13 times. Rabbi Oimer Gedalia Milah shedochas Shabbos chamura. You push off Shabbos and do Milah, so you see how important Milah is. Rabbi Shmuel Karcha Oimer Gedalia Milah. Real quickly, the Bach says, why is the Mishnah being Bayrach? And the Tur, who brings this halach of Milah, brings this entire Mishnah word for word, but the Tur is a sefer of halacha, not a sefer of musar and agata. So why is it in there? All these things. Says the Bach to teach us that the bris, you have to be shomer your bris your entire life. That's the point. It's not just a one and done. There's arayis, there's all sorts of halachas that have to do with the bris. That's what the Mishnah is coming to say. This is the Bach saying it. When Moshe Rabbeinu didn't do a bris to his son Eliezer, nothing was able to spare him. He was almost going to die from it. If a person has tzaras on his bris milah, then it pushes it off. You cut off the tzaras, even though it's issa deraisa, to cut off tzaras. He had to do a bris milah to be considered whole. And you say this at a bris, right? Without a bris, wouldn't create the world. All nature and everything, I wouldn't do it without a bris. Rabbi have a wonderful Shabbos. Shiur Motsei Shabbos, 7:30. Keep in mind the new time. Mazal Tov, Rabbi Yehuda. Good Shabbos.